Micah Potter, and he knocks it down.
Here is Micah Potter, 4-3.
Wisconsin loving what they're seeing from Potter early.
Growing up, a key emphasis for my dad in teaching us the game was how to shoot correctly. Starting with the little Tykes hoop in our family room, probably 2-3 years old.
My background with basketball is really, I'm a third generation basketball guy. My dad picked up from his dad, not just the basketball gene, but good basketball technique. What he learned from Kent State when he played basketball at Kent State University. The shooting form with my dad started with his high school coach. They would tie their non-dominant hand behind their back and they would just drill shot after shot after shot. My dad introduced the same thing to me in our driveway. He coached me in elementary and high school. So I did the same thing with Micah. Then on his own, he just developed a pre-game method of doing that.
Every single day before practice or before a game, you'll see me starting inside. And then I'll go to the right block and I'll make 3 there and then scoot back to about 15 feet, make 3, and then I'll go left block and make 3. It was frustrating when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I can see the reasoning behind it and how it's made me successful shooting the ball.
I always told my boys, I said, if you have bad shooting form, you're not welcome in our home. So I know it sounds kind of harsh and we joke about it, but to me it wasn't worth playing the game if you didn't have a good, pure shooting form.
Here's the freshman Potter, and he'll knock it down. That's his first bucket of his Ohio State career.
Being a kid from Ohio and growing up in Ohio, I was a Buckeyes fan. The decision to end up leaving Ohio State was extremely painful.
The process of transferring was one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult moment of life that Mike and I had experienced together as a father and a son, because it meant so much to us just to be there.
I also had my younger brother Noah come in the very next semester as an early enrollee for the football team. It made me break down into tears.
Micah still has wonderful relationships at Ohio State with ushers at the shot and cheerleaders and former players. He still communicates with them. Once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye. But the way Wisconsin accepted Micah and picked up where Thad and Chris left off has been seamless.
Ultimately, making that decision and coming to Wisconsin made me realize that Wisconsin was my true dream school. Through all of the chaos that leaving Ohio State caused, coming to Wisconsin ended up bringing one of the biggest lights in my life.
Micah claims that it took him 72 hours to figure out that he was going to marry me.
Literally within 3 days of me being on campus, I got introduced to my fiance, Elle. We were able to meet through a mutual friend on the women's volleyball team at Ohio State. Elle plays volleyball at Loyola Chicago.
The first conversation we had about Elle, he's like, Brad, I think I'm gonna marry this girl. And I was like, all right, Micah, whatever you say. I don't know you very well yet, but I'll take your word for it.
Everyone assumes that it's this super smooth message that he sent me, or like some elaborate way to get my attention, but he literally, all he said was, hey.
Like I said, I knew within 3 days, so I'm really glad that it ended up happening like that, even though the start was a little awkward. The saving process for the ring, really, it started back my freshman year of college. When it came to it, when I finally got to Wisconsin and I met Elle, and like I said, I knew within 3 days, I was like, oh man, it's go time. I went without heat in the wintertime and air conditioning in the summertime.
We always thought he just wanted to spend a lot of time with us and be in our room, but it's because that he was either really cold or really hot and wanted to get away from his room.
It helped out a lot. I was able to save up enough money to get the right ring for her, and it was completely worth it. The pandemic caused lots of problems for everyone, including myself when it comes to wanting to propose to Elle.
Micah told me his plan about a couple weeks before it was set into motion.
He told us about this trip that they were going on to celebrate his Aunt Karen's birthday.
They were planning on having a birthday trip for my aunt out to Park City, Utah.
We actually committed to the birthday celebration before Mike even told us about the engagement.
Thankfully, the whole setup process was made very easy. We went to a really nice steak restaurant. We went back, parked the car in the driveway.
We get out of the car and we start walking down the steps.
There was the setup. It was perfect. I had a little semicircle of candles with some rose petals. I had a 2-picture frame set up with a bunch of pictures of us, from different points throughout our relationship. I talked to her a little bit, told her how much she meant to me and how much I loved her and how thankful I was for her.
He got down on one knee and asked me to spend the rest of his life together, and I said yes.
And I found my lifelong partner, so it was a great time. Obviously, the pandemic has caused issues with attendance at our basketball games. But a cool thing that Wisconsin's done is they've allowed cardboard cutouts. Elle took full advantage of that.
Everyone's gonna be in red, so I don't wanna look like everyone else, I wanna stand out. So I decided on one of our engagement pictures, so I'm in a pink dress.
One day I walked out and I was like, oh wow, that's Elle. Even though she's not there, if we come out of a timeout or whatever, I come out of the game being able to look up and see her. It's kind of it adds a sense of comfort. Leaving what I thought was my dream school, going to a school that I didn't know a whole lot about, but being able to come here and make that leap of faith. And ultimately, I'm as happy as I've ever been.